Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for your ears. I'm working my way through all of the Final Destination movies, and I just finished Final Destination 2. With the tagline, "You can't cheat death twice," Final Destination 2, short version, holds up. It's just a half step under the first one because it's not the first one, but some things are done better. I gotta say, as much as I like the catalyst for the first movie, the aircraft explosion, the log truck scene with the car accidents and all of that, still to this day, even though there's a little bit of computer-generated stuff in there, a lot of amazing stunt work. It's edited really well. David R. Ellis directed this movie. He had done a lot of TV, and he's done 7 big movies, including he also came back and did Final Destination 4. What I didn't know about David R. Ellis until just a few minutes ago before I started, I knew his name, I knew some of the movies he made. I didn't know he died kind of under mysterious circumstances. He was in South Africa. They found him in his hotel room bathroom. They don't suspect foul play. This was 2013. They still haven't released a cause of death. He was getting ready to film a South African adaptation of an anime that's called Kite. Eventually, they got a different director, and it was made, and I don't know whatever happened with that. But anyway, long story short, I had no idea. Wow. So 10 years after he made this movie, he passed away in South Africa. Anyway, the movie had a $26 million budget, went on to gross $90 million. Just a little less than the first one, but still kind of knocked it out of the park, right? So it continued the trend. Jeffrey Riddick, who created the characters of the first one, co-wrote the story for this one, but they brought in Eric Bress and J. Mackay Gruber to write the story and the screenplay. Ali Larter comes back. A.J. Cook stars in this one, Michael Lands, and Tony Todd, of course. New Line Cinemas released this in early 2003. Like I said, it went on to gross a pretty decent amount. Got mixed reviews, but watching it now and comparing it to other horror movies we have, this was a really good sequel. It maintained. It's a different group of people, but it's kind of the same thing. You know, they somehow got a premonition, avoided the big accident. Death wipes them out. There's a very shocking moment in the beginning, and this first opening scene, they jump right to it. Unlike the first movie that took some time to introduce us to the characters, you're basically introduced to the characters while they're getting ready to enter the premonition type scene that you're going to see more than once. I thought everybody does a great job in the movie. Really like the stars, the sheriff and the main star. A.J. Cook as a brunette, really didn't recognize her at first, so that's interesting. Ali Larter comes back. She's put herself into an insane asylum voluntarily to protect herself. And anybody that comes to see her has to empty their pockets and that kind of stuff because she doesn't want any accidents happening. And in their first meeting of when A.J. Cook's character realizes that they're experiencing what the kids from the first movie did a year ago. This is 1 year later. She goes to see her. And then we kind of get a team up. And the movie, obviously plays out like it's supposed to. Death is going to come for these people one way or the other. You know, each one is going to die. They've added a few more people. But one of the shocking things I was going to say earlier is right after the big premonition scene, well, 3 of the people who survived didn't. It was like, boom, Death took care of 3 right there at the onset, and it's a shocking moment still to this day. The movie holds up very well on Blu-ray, by the way. This is from that same 4-disc set I got from Warner Brothers for $15. Better video. It was a higher encode, higher bit rate throughout the entire thing, and the movie had a couple more $1 million, so they probably used better cameras and such. Also, better soundtrack, much better. It was still a Dolby HD, True HD soundtrack, but this was 3 to 4 megabit. It's kind of variable in there and was more dynamic. There was more bass. There was more surround sound. It really was a much better experience than the first one. You got to admit, the first one was probably made with, it originally had TV show origins, so they didn't expect it. This is more like a theatrical film, like the other movies feel. Not that the first one didn't. They did a really good job with it, but this just is more of everything you wanted. Is that what you want out of a sequel? I do like Tony Todd. He pops up in these movies to fill in a little exposition or, kind of in this one, he was just kind of creepy. And the way he looked at the camera at the end, it was just like he kind of knows, and that's one of the thing about these movies that makes it different than all the other horror movies, that he just pops up and he kind of knows what's going on with the kids, but also knows it's a movie, or at least is in with you as far as it goes. Shirley Walker did the music. I really enjoyed the music a hair more. Eric Sears edited it. And like I said, and with Gary Capo, the cinematographer, the stunning car crash scene at the beginning is just jaw-dropping still. Came out in 2003, 3 years after the first one. All in all, great sequel and another good Final Destination movie. These movies are not going to win Academy Awards, and I know why some critics were hard on them back in the day, but honestly, as horror movies go, there are so many bad ones out there. We need to really champion some of these that stand the test of time. And this movie played out great. The practical gore effects are good when people get offed. There was still, they don't go full Italian horror movie with some of this gore. People get impaled or something happens to their head or crushed or whatever, but it's brief, or just the corner of it and the blood splatter. This also has the plate glass scene, which I also think is really well done. I remember back in the days of DVD, we slowed it down to see actually how do they do that plate glass scene. And now with Blu-ray, you get more frames per second, so to speak. You can kind of, actually you don't, you get the same amount of frames, but you get a higher resolution. You can see more. It's still a really great scene. A lot of great scenes in this movie, and just a great sequel. Final Destination 2 is available on streaming services. You can get it in a 4-pack with the first 4 movies. You'll have to get the 5th one separately. Maybe there's a box set with all of them now. That maybe there will be when the new one comes out. By the way, Friday, when the new movie came out, the pre-orders are already up for the Blu-rays, 4Ks, and the Steelbook. So if you enjoyed it, pre-order it, because these things are selling out these days. Well, I've got several more Final Destination movies to watch, more podcasts to do, so thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. That is a huge deal, and have a spectacular day.